Fall is back to school time. It's back to work time after vacations. It's a time of increased social interactions. It's a time when young teens, older teens, young adults going off to college, and even you and I as mature adults can experience increased social anxiety. You know, EFT and other types of tapping techniques can help keep all types of anxiety at bay. However, not every situation in which we find ourselves will allow us to tap. There are a variety of situations where we feel anxiety, stress, or other disempowering emotions, but we may be in social situations, for students, school situations, or for us, work situations. We are in social situations or work situations where open EFT tapping is not a reasonable option. When you and I find ourselves in this type of situation, you and I can employ what I call quiet tapping. Quiet tapping. In a moment, you and I are going to join a previously recorded episode about how to apply 4 quiet tapping methods when regular EFT tapping is simply not an option. Those 4 methods are finger tapping, to include the SET system, which is short for Simple Energy Techniques. Number 2, rubbing or massaging EFT points while bringing awareness silently in mind to your setup or choices method statement. Number 3, mental or in-mind tapping. And number 4, bilateral activation, also known as bilateral tapping. Which one of these is best? Well, like so many areas of life, it depends. I suggest giving each one of these methods a go, test them out, and see what you resonate with. If you are new to tapping, or you're teaching a quiet tapping method to a teen or someone who does not know EFT well, my strong recommendation is to use the bilateral tapping methods. They are simple, they are easy to remember, and they are effective. You'll find guides and other related information about each of these 4 methods linked in the show notes. If you have any questions about how to apply any of these methods, email me at cartermethod@gmail.com. I will be more than happy to offer additional guidance. Let's join the main part of our episode right now. As summer comes to an end and fall is knocking at our door in the Northern Hemisphere, it's a time when vacations are done, we're returning to work for one of the busiest periods, and students are back in class. These changes can lead to increased stress and anxiety. As an EFT practitioner, you have a powerful tool to keep stress and anxiety low. You know that the best time to neutralize stress and anxiety is when you first notice the heightened emotional sense of dis-ease. That is, of course, the time to tap. However, when we're in meetings, sitting in open cubicles, confined to a classroom with other students, classic EFT tapping typically is not something we feel comfortable doing. Are there ways you can apply alternative methods using the EFT acupressure points to enjoy stress and anxiety relief? Yes, indeed, there are. You and I will identify and apply some of those methods you can use anytime. Open tapping is not an option, and we'll do that in this episode of EFT Tapping Junction. Hello and welcome to this episode of EFT Tapping Junction. I am your host, Stephen Carter, founder of Stress Solutions, LLC of Maryland, Stress Solutions USA, and Stress Relief Radio. For more information about my background and certifications, including, of course, emotional freedom techniques, thought field therapy or TFT, neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, and an array of other methods, do visit our website at stressreliefradio.com. When you visit the website, you're also going to find previous episodes of this show, along with other podcasts dedicated to emotional and physical well-being. EFT is a marvelous tool to achieve and maintain emotional well-being. Classic EFT does, of course, use physical tapping of specific acupressure points, combined with setup statements and reminder phrases to neutralize an array of emotional challenges. When we are in public settings, such as meetings, the workplace, or in school, few of us are going to openly tap. If you're not familiar with what EFT is or what it does, tapping can appear really, really weird. Does this mean that we cannot enjoy the benefits that EFT offers because we're reluctant to tap in public? No, indeed. There are a variety of alternative methods that can create the same powerful benefits open tapping offers us. Let's begin with finger tapping. Australian therapist Steve Wells and medical doctor David Lake created an easily done and effective tapping method they named Simple Energy Techniques, or SET. With SET, you bring to mind the specific issue of concern or simply bring awareness to whatever disempowering sensations you're noticing. You can either keep the issue in mind or verbally, out loud, or in mind if necessary. Talk about how you feel about the issue in a stream of consciousness flow while tapping the finger points. Here's how Steve and David describe the SET process. Quote, many of the techniques and strategies used in SET are adapted and modified from emotional freedom techniques, thought field therapy, and other energy psychology approaches. Although SET also has several elements that make it uniquely different from those approaches. The main component of SET is a simple process of stimulating energy meridian points on the body for emotional and physical relief. Typically, this involves tapping on the points, although rubbing or simply touching the points can also be used. We also encourage and teach a form of continual tapping for energy toning. This continual tapping is the cornerstone of SET and the main element that makes it different from EFT and TFT. Additionally, SET almost never uses setup or reminder statements. Unquote. You can use the index finger of one hand to tap the finger points in any order on the opposite hand, or you can use the thumb of your tapping hand to tap up and down the finger points on that same hand. You're tapping the side of each finger about 1/2 inch or about 1.5 centimeters up from the tip of the end of each finger. When using your thumb to tap the remaining fingers of your tapping hand, you are automatically positioned properly to tap the acupressure points. You can, of course, combine SET with slow breathing to keep your mind present and your body calm. If there are other people present, you can place your hands under a desk or cover your tapping hand with the other hand as you place both hands in your lap and tap away during meetings, when taking a short tapping break at your desk, or when in other social situations where open tapping is not an option. Steve and David are providing a free PDF guide entitled Simple Energy Tapping. You can download that guide at no cost by visiting their website at EFTdownunder.com, EFTdownunder.com, and then select the Simple Energy Techniques section. You'll find a direct link to the set information page in this episode's show notes. Another alternative way to activate tapping points is to rub or massage selected points. Start by dropping one hand, and here we'll say that will be the left hand, into the palm of your activating hand. In this example, that will be your right hand. When your hands are in this position, you can easily rub or massage the karate chop point of your left hand with the middle and ring fingers of your right hand, and then silently tune into the disempowering sensations you're experiencing, and notice how strong the felt sense is on the subjective units of distress or SUD scale. As you'll recall, the SUD scale is a 0 to 10 scale, with 0 being no stress, no distress, whatever, and 10 being the most distress you could imagine. If you prefer using a setup statement, you can create your setup statement as you would typically do in classic EFT, or my preferred action, create an EFT choices method statement, such as, I choose to be calm and confident. I choose to be calm and confident, or I choose to release and let go of any and all stress, any and all anxiety, and be calm and relaxed. I choose to release and let go of any and all stress, any and all anxiety, and be calm and relaxed. After rubbing the karate chop point for a few seconds, move your right hand up to your eyebrow point and rub or massage that point for 5 to 7 seconds. Then slowly move over to the side of the eye point. Rub or apply pressure to the side of the eye point, and then slowly move your hand to the under eye point. Rub or apply pressure there. Move to the under the nose point, then the under the lip point, and then the collarbone point. Finish by allowing a gentle in-breath and a very slow out-breath as you silently say the word peace in mind. After taking a loving in and gentle slow out-breath, check in and see what your SUDS level is now. If you notice any residual sense of stress or anxiety, repeat the process as needed. A third method is mental tapping, or tapping in mind. With mental tapping, you tune into the issue or sensations. You can create a setup statement or an EFT choices statement, or you can simply be aware of the issue and resulting physical sensations. Next, bring attention to each tapping point silently in mind as you see and feel yourself tapping through each of the EFT tapping points. I shared this method in an earlier episode, which goes into additional detail. You'll find that episode linked in the show notes. Finally, there is an amazing simple method I call bilateral tapping activation. A powerful example of bilateral tapping is the butterfly hug technique. I'll have the episode where I walk you through that technique linked in the show notes. The butterfly hug technique, however, does require physical tapping that can be seen by others around you. With the butterfly hug, you take your right hand and place it on the left bicep, and your left hand placed on the right bicep. You repeat your setup statement or choices method statement, and alternatively tap back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you notice the anxiety or stress melting away and simply disappearing. There are, however, bilateral tapping methods that can be applied with no one being aware of what you are doing. In one method, assuming you're seated, you simply place your right hand on your right thigh and your left hand on your left thigh. Bring into awareness whatever issue or disempowering sensations are present. Get a sense of the SUDS level. Create your setup statement or EFT choices method affirmation in mind and tap alternately on the left and right thigh at a rate of about 2 taps a second, back and forth, or at whatever rate feels comfortable for you. You need very little finger movement as you're tapping back and forth, back and forth. Here again in mind if that's needed. As you repeat your setup statement or your EFT choices method statement or no statement at all, simply tuning in to the felt sense within. If for some reason you have to keep your hands visible, you can alternatively activate your toes inside of your shoes. Squeeze your toes on the left foot and then the right foot, back and forth as you repeat your setup statement or your choices method statement, or again, no statement at all, simply focusing in on the felt sense inside of your body. You'll find a short how-to video entitled Tapping Exercises to Calm Anxiety. You'll find a link to that video in this episode's show notes. These 4 techniques, finger point or set tapping, acupressure point massage, mental tapping, and bilateral tapping, are all effective techniques you can use when open tapping simply is not an option. You'll find additional resources in the episode show notes. I do encourage you to check those resources out and to use them. If you're not yet following EFT Tapping Junction, this is the perfect time to follow the show where you get your podcasts. If you have questions about anything you and I have discussed in this episode, or you would like to be in touch for any reason, email me at cartermethod@gmail.com. To hear previous episodes of this show and other podcasts dedicated to emotional and physical well-being, visit us at stressreliefradio.com. Until our next visit together, I encourage you to keep tapping into your very best life. Your host here, Stephen Carter, wishing for you and your loved ones blessings in abundance.